Google search Hybristophilia. AI overview. Hybristophilia is a paraphilia, a sexual attraction to those who have committed crimes. It involves sexual arousal and gratification derived from being in a relationship with someone known to have engaged in criminal behavior, particularly acts of violence or outrage. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Definition. Hybristophilia, also sometimes called cellarophilia, is a sexual interest in individuals who have committed crimes. Paraphilia. It is categorized as a paraphilia, meaning it's an atypical sexual interest that is considered unusual or extreme. Sexual arousal. The core characteristic is sexual arousal and gratification linked to the knowledge or experience of a partner's criminal acts. Criminal acts. While the term can encompass various crimes, it's often associated with acts of violence like murder, rape, or armed robbery. Examples. Hybristophilia is often associated with people who become romantically involved with famous criminals, serial killers, or individuals known for other serious offenses. Not new. While the term was coined more recently, the phenomenon itself has been observed and discussed for decades, with some researchers suggesting it might be linked to childhood trauma or a desire for control. Hybristophilia. From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Hybristophilia is the phenomenon characterized by sexual interest in and attraction to those who commit crimes. In popular culture, this phenomenon is also known as the Bonnie and Clyde syndrome. The term hybristophilia is coined by John Money in 1986 and is derived from the Greek word hybrizion, beta-roseta-epsilon-iota, meaning to commit an outrage against someone, ultimately derived from hubris beta-rho-iota, hubris, and philo, meaning having a strong affinity/preference for. Manifestation. Manifestations of hybristophilia include the romanticization of criminals, especially serial killers. Many high-profile criminals, particularly those who have committed atrocious crimes, receive fan mail in prison that is sometimes amorous or sexual, presumably because of this phenomenon. Women who write pen pal letters to or even pursue men who are incarcerated for a crime are sometimes referred to as a prison groupie or a serial killer groupie. In some cases, admirers of these criminals have gone on to marry the object of their affections in prison. Causes. Some speculations have been offered as to the cause of hybristophilia. Catherine Ramsland, a professor of forensic psychology at DeSales University, mentions that some of the women who have married or dated male serial killers have offered the following reasons. Some believe they can change a man as cruel and powerful as a serial killer. Others see the little boy that the killer once was and seek to nurture him. A few hope to share in the media spotlight or get a book or movie deal. Then there's the notion of the perfect boyfriend. She knows where he is at all times, and she knows he's thinking about her. While she can claim that someone loves her, she does not have to endure the day-to-day issues involved in most relationships. There's no laundry to do, no cooking for him, and no accountability to him. She can keep the fantasy charged up for a long time. Others offered reasons along the lines of, some mental health experts have compared infatuation with killers to extreme forms of fanaticism. They view such women as insecure females who cannot find love in normal ways or as love-avoidant females who seek romantic relationships that cannot be consummated. Psychologist Leon F. Seltzer proposes the condition could be related to the riskiness involved with dating a criminal, the desire to tame or fix them, and primitive instincts based on evolutionary psychology. In the latter theory, he mentions dominance as attractive as it would mean such men could protect women and their offspring, according to evolutionary history. Seltzer says women today may consciously realize that it is unwise to date a serial killer, but they are nevertheless attracted to them. He stated, as a therapist, I've encountered many women who bemoaned their vulnerability toward dominant men who, consciously, they recognized were all wrong for them. As evidence of women's fantasy preference for dominant men, he refers to the book A Billion Wicked Thoughts, What the World's Largest Experiment Reveals About Human Desire by Ogi Ogas and Sai Gadum. Seltzer discusses Ogasun Gadum's argument that this fantasy is the dominant plot of most erotic/romantic books and movies written for women, but the fantasy always holds that this male dominance is conditional, it doesn't really represent the man's innermost reality. He also says in reality, very few women are actually swayed by these primitive instincts. Elizabeth Gurian wrote that hybristophilia may be a result of an individual being the victim of abuse or having a seeking behavior. A linkage was also made to the case of it being for the purpose of controlling fear, in which people consciously or unconsciously deny the threat in accordance with the extended parallel process model. Social media contributions for an easier method of showcasing attraction to the criminal hybristophilia have also been discussed. A 2023 paper stated that if social media platforms including TikTok provide users with the ability to freely express themselves publicly and anonymously, then individuals wanting to showcase and share their affection and admiration for criminal offenders might opt to utilize these platforms for this purpose. Notable examples. One of the most infamous examples of hybristophilia is the large number of women attracted to Ted Bundy after his arrest. He often drew scores of women at the jammed courtrooms of his trials each day. Bundy allegedly received hundreds of love letters from women while he was incarcerated, and married a woman, Carolyn Boone, whom he had met while both were working in the state of Washington. He proposed to her in the middle of proceedings while Boone was on the witness stand. Boone gave birth to a daughter whom it was believed Bundy had fathered. Jeffrey Dahmer, a serial killer, is said to have had amorous women sending him letters, money, and other gifts during his time in prison despite being a gay man and a cannibal. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker who killed 13 people and had more than a passing interest in Satanism, had fans who would write him letters and pay him visits. This included Doreen Leoie, who married him in California's San Quentin State Prison on October 3, 1996. However, Leoie eventually broke ties with Ramirez in 2009 after DNA confirmed he had raped and murdered 9-year-old May Leon, though it seems she never legally filed for divorce. Cult leader orchestrator Charles Manson's groupies are also examples.